What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shooky from Shook Earth Media, and today we're talking about a new Walking Dead episode. I thought we weren't going to have a Sunday video this week. I was like, what am I going to do? No new Walking Dead episode? Oh no, but here we are. They fed us our allotted amount of Walking Dead for the week, and we got a spinoff of a spinoff this week. It's called Dead in the Water, and it's about this character Riley, who you will remember was Teddy's number 2 guy. This is the death cult that basically caused the nuclear apocalypse in season 7. So we're getting a backstory. We get to see the outbreak through his perspective. And I gotta say, I like this spinoff. I didn't necessarily have high expectations, but a lot of their spin-off web series type of things haven't really been that great in the past. But this, I have to say, this is probably the best of all the web series that Walking Dead has done. It's a very solid episode. It's looks good. The script is pretty decent. The story's good. Dialogue's a little clunky, but hey, you can't have everything. But there's a lot of great content here, and honestly, like one of the quickest paced Walking Dead stories we've had in a while. It feels like a really brisk, like 40 minutes. It's about the same length as a normal Walking Dead episode, and we get a lot of different things here, and I think it's because it was originally written as a web series. So this was reported a year ago that they were going to do this, and it was called a series. It's only one episode, so I don't think we're getting more after this. Maybe we will, but I think it felt pretty complete, so it was done. The story felt complete by the end, so I don't think we're necessarily going to get any more. And I really do think that this is because AMC was like, hey, we spent so much money on this submarine set, let's get some use out of it. And they made really great use of the sets, so I mean, it makes sense, and it looks pretty good. So I like this episode overall. So would I say it's an AMC Plus exclusive right now? Would I say that it's worth it? We'll get back to that at the end when I give my final verdict, but let's just run through the episode. So the way it's structured is that it's 8 episodes put together. I'm assuming they shot it with the intention of putting an episode out every week with Fear the Walking Dead, but AMC looks like they decided to package them all together as one episode instead and release it as an exclusive for their streaming service, as an incentive to purchase it. And I would say, unfortunately, for everybody who's still on cable, that's probably going to become more common with The Walking Dead. I'm sure we're going to get some exclusive series on AMC Plus eventually. I'm sure that this is what they're going to be gearing towards in the future. So, but yeah, the episodes honestly would have stood up pretty nice on their own. Like they're each like 7 minutes each, and we got 8 of them. So, yeah, I like the pacing here. Like I said, I mean, the dialogue's a little clunky. Like, I don't know if it feels like an authentic military experience, in terms of how people talk in these early episodes. Or, yeah, these early parts at the beginning. There's 8 parts in this episode. But, yeah, I like the setup here. This guy, Riley, is a likable character in this, so I really like that we don't get to see the transformation. I would almost like to see a second episode of this, just so we can see him going from this guy who's a likable guy. So Riley has a newborn, he's trying to do the right thing here, and at the end he makes the right choice. We'll get to it as we get through the episode, but yeah, I mean, overall he's a likable protagonist, and you definitely root for him in this. So it's interesting to see different sides of this character. And like I said, it just makes me curious about the transformation, because it's a very drastic difference from who he is in Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. So it's intriguing. I like the setup here. We have a surgery scene, which at first is like kind of weird, but this is right at the outbreak. They didn't send the medical evac, so this is like a last resort type of thing. And of course, he wakes up during the surgery because they don't have everything that they need, and then he dies. And of course, this is how the zombie breakout starts on the ship. So I mean, as far as this goes, this is like all the standard beats of Walking Dead Outbreak stuff done in a submarine, which is a great setting for it. And I think they did a pretty good job with all the different story beats. There's a point where, like, we'll get to it, but there's a point where they kind of felt like they were rushing it a little bit. But I do like the fact that these are written as like 7-minute episodes. I think it makes the pacing a lot more brisk, and it keeps the story moving at a much faster pace. So I like that they wrote it that way. So it doesn't feel padded out. It feels, it tells the story as long as it should. And I mean, some of these conversations here, where the dialogue's a little stilted at the beginning, it gets better as it goes, though. So there's not really a lot for me to like really complain about overall. There's just a bunch of little nitpicky things that I can do. As you guys know, I do the nitpicky thing. But overall, I mean, this is a very entertaining story here. I mean, it's pretty by the numbers zombie fare, and like I said, it doesn't necessarily do anything all that new, but it was a fun setup. We had the guy in the freezer waking up and coming into the mess hall, and everybody's scared and all that, and trying to figure out. He shoots it in the chest because of course they're trained to shoot for the center of mass instead of the head. That's contrary to how video games make you think. But this is the one thing, I don't know why he has his gun on him. They're on a vessel. I wouldn't be expecting, this is a military vessel, unless they get boarded or something. I don't know why he would just have a weapon on him. Who is he going to need to shoot at, So I don't know that, I mean, I bet they would have weapons on the ship, but would they have guns, just carrying them holstered? I really don't think so. And actually, it would have been more interesting if they didn't have a gun, because then, they got to get creative. They got to figure things out, and it's going to do a lot more damage. So this is the thing. Like, they have guns in this, and they shoot them willy-nilly. And it's like, I don't know that they've thought about a lot of the things about being in a submarine with a gun. You don't necessarily want to shoot a gun anywhere, because you could spring a leak in the hull. You could hit something that might explode, or you might damage an important piece of equipment. We have missiles on this ship, might explode. We got all this stuff, or they're nukes even. Yeah, so you don't want to be shooting a gun pretty much ever. So I don't know. I don't think he would have had a gun on him. That's just a nitpicky thing. But I think it's relevant to the conversation here. And also, like, bullets bounce. And we're in this metal box. So bullets, they don't just hit their target and then just disappear. They go, there's follow through, so that it's a thing that pulls me out of it. But it's hard for me to complain, because these scenes are a lot of fun. So I like the Outbreak scenario. It's almost more fun, like when we get at zombie scenes these days in The Walking Dead, 11 seasons in, it's kind of by the numbers. Like, we're not even really expecting anybody to get hurt. We're not really that concerned about it, because we've seen them kill hundreds of zombies, probably thousands. So it's fun to see, always to revisit, it being a new thing. But yeah, so the guns, I don't know. That's just my take on it. And of course, people get bit, but they seem okay. And of course, nobody knows about the infections yet. And I like this little setup here too, where we got a zombie wandering, and then he trips over the little lip here in the little doorway. So yeah, I like this scene here. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said there's certain beats I feel a little rushed. I feel like they know from earlier that getting shot in the head is what does it, but I feel like Riley, our lead here, goes a little too quickly to, I'm just gonna bash his head in with a fire extinguisher. Like, that's a very brutal thing. I don't know if he's like killed anybody before, or like been in a real war situation like that. So I don't know. It's a bit brutal, man, and that's like it's harsh. So I don't know that. I feel like that was maybe a little rushed. Maybe if it was like a bit easier to kill him or something, that would be one thing. But yeah, so it's okay. But I like this. We got good zombie effects here. Usually a lot of these web series they've done in the past have kind of skimped a little bit on the zombie effects, been a little bit cheaper. This doesn't look it. This looks, about the same budget as like a normal episode, in terms of visuals. So, of course we don't have lead cast members or anything from the show. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of this episode in general. It's pretty good. It's not the most amazing thing ever, but I really like this scene here. I said the dialogue is clunky. There's still some good bits though. Like this scene in this freezer here is spot on. We get the fear of the situation. We get the conflict, the different views on how they should approach things, and it really introduced these characters and made me care about the characters and made me interested in what was gonna happen. Of course, this guy's like very nervous, and of course, like they talk about how Riley's like, you don't even want to go home and be a dad, but some of us do, and stuff like that. So I like this argument here. I think it was really well done, and I mean, we got a lot of charismatic actors here, and it's a lot of likable characters. So I really like what they're going for. And you saw there's the title screen. Between each of the parts, there's a title screen, so they kind of just cut these episodes together, but it works, it flows. I mean, honestly, they could have cut out the titles if they wanted to, and it would have been fine, but they decided not to. So it just feels like there's commercial breaks in it, which is kind of weird, being a streaming exclusive, and it feels like it has commercial breaks in it. But it works. So we get some classic zombie killing, of course. Now this scene, one thing that bothered me a little bit is, so we've already by this point seen lots of zombies jump around the corner and all that, and here we have Riley, our lead character, leading them through this hallway, which we've seen in the show before. Like I'm really liking that they decided to do this and make good use of this submarine set. I think they made better use of it here than they did in the proper Fear the Walking Dead show. Not that I like the whole situation in the Fear the Walking Dead as well, but I really just like using this for classic zombie scenes. But here we have him leading here. It's just a minor directing thing. If I was leading the way, I'd be looking around every corner, like checking the corners, and I feel like soldiers, cops, and people with training are trained to look for threats around the corner. Slice the pie and all that. They have like terms for it. So I feel like he just kind of like charges forward. So that it's one minor thing. But of course we got people getting bit. I really like that the one guy with the gun is nervous, and then one of our friendly guys comes up to him and he shoots him in fear. That's a great storyline. So I like these scenes. It's classic Walking Dead stuff. Like I said, there's nothing earth-shattering about this other than we haven't had too many military perspectives on what's going on. So that's interesting to get that perspective on things. But even in this, they're still kind of distanced from the bigger picture thing. It's like an isolated thing where they don't really have any communication about what's going on in the bigger world. So yeah, now we got them in the bridge, and the captain kind of he points a gun at them and is like, show me your arms and all that. I feel like it's a bit far. I mean, he's still the captain. We're only one day into the apocalypse at this point or whatever, so I feel like it's a bit soon for him to be threatening his own people when he could just order them to do that, and they would. It's not like they wouldn't. And also, you find out he's bit later, so it's like, why are you so aggressive about that if you're the one who's already bit? And I don't know. It's a little bit much, and I feel like he points the gun at them, trying to get them to do something later. I feel like it wasn't necessary, and it feels a bit out of character for somebody who's in charge of the military to be doing that. But I like it. They get an order to shoot a bomb in Chicago. And we don't get any clarification about why that is or who ordered them to do this. So they get the orders to shoot the missile. And I really like that everyone else besides the captain stands up to the orders and says, I'm not attacking my own country. I really like that they banded together for that. But again, makes me curious about the. It's a long way from where we see Riley in season 6. So he, of course, was trying to get back onto the sub to blow up the world. So it's a big change to go from I won't blow up the country to let's blow up the country. So it would have been. I'm curious to see if we will get episode 2. I don't think we will, but maybe. So it says episode 1 on the website, but it feels complete to me, and we're done with the sub by the end of the episode. So I don't think so. But I really like this moment and them standing up. It was, classic heroic military things. So I really like that ultimately, and then of course he turns out that he's bit and he's defeated, but he gives himself up, basically lets him put him down. And I really like we'll get into Riley's motivation now with the family stuff. It's easy to really add that into a script, but I think it works here. It humanizes him, and even giving him the conflict, the journey going from, oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, the apprehension that he was feeling, going from that to that's all he cared about, I think makes a lot of sense, and in the context of a drastic situation, I like the characterization there. So that's a nice arc that I like. I like this Riley character in this episode. Of course, total piece of shit in the season 6. There's no redeeming him or justifying what he did in season 6, but I really like his arc in this episode. Now, here's where they really take advantage of the setting, and I absolutely love this part. It's my favorite part of the episode, absolutely. They decide to pull a maneuver where they talk to somebody on the radio who's at the bridge, and they turn the ship to the side, and zombies go flying everywhere. And it's awesome. They filmed it really well. Great stunts, and it's really creative use of the environment, so I really appreciate that they added that in, and it's a lot of fun. Now, the only issue with that scene is the person who calls them on the radio, says, "Riley, are you there?" When he had no way of knowing that Riley happened to be right next to a radio. And also, how would he know Riley's still alive? Wouldn't he, say that, maybe he would be calling for anybody on the channel? But of course, that it is the guy that they split up at the beginning. That's another movie thing that they do, and I don't know why they split up at the beginning, but maybe it's explained and I just didn't get it. But yeah, that part was a bit much for me. The one character who's probably the most likable gets bit at the end, and we get the tragic thing, but we have to put him in a place where it feels completely lost. So by the end of the episode, it's important to kill everybody, and in classic Walking Dead fashion. So everybody gets bit, basically. It's a nice moment. He sacrifices himself. Now he gets back up and starts fighting zombies. I don't know if he'd really be doing that so much with a bite and everything, but I don't know. That's nitpicking again. And we get this nice scene here where he's like, "It was an honor serving with you." It feels like a classic kind of military movie scene, but it works for me. And he gives away the key because, of course, he can't have the key for season 6, so they give him up to somebody else. Now, what I don't get is they leave the sub, and then he's on his own after that. Where did the rest of them go? And I guess they split up because the keys can't be in the same location. I don't know. I feel like in this situation, you'd want to, stick together for survival's sake. I mean, forget the key. Somebody finds it, they're not necessarily going to know. Of course, you do have to protect it. Honestly, maybe try to dispose of the key, in all honesty. So, I don't know. But we get the scene of him calling his girlfriend, wife on the phone. And it's a hopeful thing at first, and then I flip it over, and she gets attacked while on the phone. And it's again a simple scene to add in. As far as from the writing perspective, it's not the hardest thing to write a scene like this, but it's classic. Get him to the low point. I think it's an emotional payoff that works for me. It's a tragic thing. and sets up his arc nicely. And then he meets Teddy at the end, and Teddy's like glowing. He's got like this Jesus thing. Of course, the time has passed. That's why I'm like, where are the other guys, you know? And he's just surviving on this beach. I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't he want shelter or something? Does he really want to be out in the elements when there's zombies roaming around at night? Does he have like warning systems? We've seen in Walking Dead, people have like cans on string that zombies kick over and as an alert system. So I don't know. This whole setup at the end, I like seeing Teddy and how they shoot this and all that. That all works for me. It's just like the logistics of him surviving on his own when he knows that there are other soldiers out there that he like. That's I don't know why he'd be on his own at this point. That's the only thing. I feel like maybe they should have actually killed absolutely everybody. But yeah, so this show overall, it's a very competent spin-off. It's a spin-off of a spin-off. I do recommend watching it if you have AMC Plus. I don't know if I'd say that it's worth getting AMC Plus just for this. As of right now, there aren't really any exclusive content other than there's like a holiday special, which is really just interviews clipped together. And other than that, I mean, everything, you just get episodes a week early. You don't get any exclusive content other than this. But if you can get a free trial, might be worth checking it out for fun. But maybe save that free trial for when we have a full exclusive show. But it's a fun episode, and I liked it overall. Honestly, like this better than any episode in season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead so far. I think it's a very solid, competent thing, and it actually makes me more excited to see Tales of the Walking Dead, because I'm excited to see what they do with having little movies as episodes. Basically, every episode's a movie. I said before, it feels like 40 minutes might be too short for these anthology shows to really get into a deep story, but this episode proved that we can cover a lot of ground in 40 minutes. So I'm really curious to see how Tales works out based on how this turned out. I think this is by far the best web series Walking Dead related that we've seen yet. So that's my review of this episode, guys. My verdict, I definitely recommend it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think we'll get a sequel to this? Do you want a sequel to this? What was your take on it? Was there anything I missed, etc.? Hope to hear from you in the comment section down below. Hit the like if you like, and definitely sub for more Walking Dead content. We got Fear the Walking Dead next week. We have 2 episodes. So, of course, AMC Plus, the second episode is premiering at the same time as the first episode. So I will have an episode or a video dedicated to each episode individually. We'll do one, and then on Monday, the day after, we'll have the other. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's Easter Sunday as well, so happy Easter to everybody, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. Have a good one.